Yo, Wagwan. Yeah, man, I'm Mr. Garfield here. We're going to be doing a Cape Applied Mathematics Unit 1 question. All right, and I'm focusing on Module 1, that is collecting and describing data. Okay, and I'll be looking at the data analysis part, right? And we're looking at measures of central tendency for grouped data. So I'll be calculating mean, median, and mode for group data in this example. So the question says the following frequency distribution shows the net income in millions of a sample of 30 importers of computer accessories, right? So it gives us a table there, and it says we are to calculate A, the mean net income, B, the median net income, and C, the modal net income. All right, so let us do part A first, right? Part A, which is the mean net income. Now, before we start to calculate all of that, we need to set up our table. All right, we need to set up our table because there's some information that we are going to need. So let me write part 1 solution here. All right, and I want the mean. Now remember that the mean for group data is equal to the summation of fx, all right, the summation of fx divided by the summation of f, right? This notation that you see here is sigma notation. It just means that we're summing the values, all right? So we want to sum all the fx values and divide it by the sum of all the f values. So what is f? F is the frequency, right? F is the frequency. So what will be the frequency here in this question? Right? The frequency would be the number of importers. All right? So this is what we call F here. All right, that's F. So the frequency is basically how many persons fall in each category. Right? So the first thing we need is to find X. All right? So let's look in the formula. The formula says the summation of fx over the summation of f. F represents the frequency. The x represents the midpoint. All right, x represents the midpoint. Now, in order to calculate the midpoint, we need to find the class boundaries. All right, we need to find the class boundaries. Let's calculate that. So for the lower limit, for the lower class limit here, we subtract 0.5, all right? And for the upper class limit, we add 0.5. So if I say 2 minus 0.5, that will be 1.5 to 5.5, right? We're adding 0.5 to 5. Then 6 minus 0.5, that's 5.5. To 9 plus 0.5, that's 9.5. 10 minus 0.5, that's 9.5. Minus 13.5, right? You add 0.5 to 13. 14 minus 0.5, that's 13.5. Minus 17 plus 0.5, that's 17.5. 18 minus 0.5, that is 17.5. And 21 plus 0.5, that's 21.5. All right, those are the class boundaries. Okay, so x is the midpoint, right? Now, in order to calculate the midpoint, we need to add the lower and upper class boundary and divide it by 2. So 1.5 plus 5.5 divided by 2 gives us 3.5. 5.5 plus 9.5 divided by 2 gives us 7.5. 9.5 plus 13.5 gives us 11.5. 13.5 plus 17.5 divided by 2 gives us 15.5. 17.5 plus 21.5 divided by 2 gives us 19.5. All right, good. Now that we have the midpoint, which is x, let us now calculate fx. So fx is basically multiplying the median, not the median, sorry, the midpoint by the frequency values. So it's 2 times 3.5, that's 7. 7 times 7.5, that's 52.5. 9 times 11.5, that's 103.5. All right, 8 times 15.5 is 124. 4 times 19.5 gives us 78. All right, so that is fx. Okay, now remember that we need the sum. Remember in the formula below, I told that x bar, which is the mean, is equal to the summation of fx over the summation of f. So we need to find the summation of these values. All right, so when we add the fx values, we will get 365 as the total. All right, and when you add the frequency values, you will get 30. Okay, and they even told us that in the question as well. Remember, they told us that the frequency distribution shows a sample, shows the net income of a sample of 30 importers. Right, so right away you should know that f is 30. The summation of f is 30. Okay, let's continue. So x bar is equal to the summation of fx, which is 365, all right, divided by the summation of f, which we know is 30, right? So it's 365 divided by 30. So x bar is equal to 12 point, right? If you put that value in a calculator, you will get 12.1 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 6 sixes and a 7. Okay, now in the CAPE examination, it states that at the front of your exam booklet, it states that if your answer is not exact, it should be rounded off to 3 significant figures. All right, I'm going to write this answer to 3 significant figures, which is going to give me 12.2. All right, that is the 3 significant figures. Okay, that is the 3 significant figures. So we have now calculated A, all right, we have now calculated A, which is the mean net income. Let us now calculate B, right? That is the median net income. Okay, so we are finished with A, and we're now going to calculate B. All right. So let us remind you about the formula now. All right, let us remind you about the formula to calculate the median for group data. So this is it to the side here. All right, so this is the median. We normally use this notation here to represent the median, and that is equal to L1 plus the summation of f over 2 minus CF m minus 1 divided by f median. All right, the frequency of the modal class, all right, multiplied by class width. So L1 represents the lower boundary of the median class, all right. The summation of f over 2 is the total frequency divided by 2 minus the cumulative frequency before the median class, sorry, all right, divided by the frequency of the median class. All right, so this is supposed to be before the median class. All right, and the CW that you see here is the class width. Okay, and the class width is calculated using the upper boundary minus the lower boundary of the class limit. All right, so the median is equal to the lower boundary of the median class plus the total frequency divided by 2 minus the cumulative frequency before the median class divided by the frequency of the median class multiplied by the class width. The class width is also called the class size, okay? Good. So let us fill in the table. All right. So just find the cumulative frequency. All right, we're going to fill in that column. So let's look at f. The first value for f is 2, right? Whatever value that is, the first value, which is 2 in this case, we're going to write it back here. All right. Then we're going to say this 7 plus 2, which is going to give us 9. Then this 9 plus 9 is going to give us 18. Then we're going to add 18 to the 8, all right, which is going to give us 26. And then 26 plus the 4, all right, 26 plus the 4, that's 30. So when you sum all of these values now, well, we don't really need the sum, all right? We don't really need the sum of those values. So we can proceed. So this is part A solution here. All right, let's do part B solution. So part B solution. Okay, so we want to find the median now. All right, the median net income. So we know that, let me just write down the formula here. All right, just gonna write down the formula. So the median is equal to L1 plus, we're now going to have the summation of F over 2 minus CF minus 1, M minus 1, all right, divided by the frequency of the median class multiplied by the class width. Okay, so let's calculate the summation of F over 2 first, all right? We'll always calculate that first. And this is equal to, remember the summation of F was 30. That's 30 divided by 2, which we know is 15. All right, that's 15. Good. And let us calculate the class width. All right, we're going to calculate the class width now. All right. Now, before we can calculate the class width, we need to figure out the median class. All right, we need to figure out the median class. So remember that the summation of F over 2 was 15. So we're going to look in our table now. We're going to look in our table and see where does 15 lie. All right, where does 15 lie in the cumulative frequency? So 15 would lie somewhere here, right? Because we're moving from 9 to 18. So this is where the 15 would lie. So it means that my median class is going to be 10 to 13. All right, 10 to 13. So we're now going to calculate the class width, which is the upper boundary minus the lower boundary, right? The upper class boundary minus the lower class boundary, which is 13.5 minus 9.5. All right, let's do that. So the class width, that is equal to the upper boundary minus the lower class boundary. So this is now equal to, the upper boundary is 13.5 minus 9.5. All right, that is the class width. So it means that the class width is equal to, when you subtract the two values, you will get 4. Okay, good. And we know L1, which is the lower class boundary, right? We know that L1 is equal to 9.5. Okay, and we're now trying to find the cumulative frequency before the median class, before the frequency of the median, all right? So remember CF minus 1, let's go back to it. Remember CF minus 1 represents the cumulative frequency before the median class. So the cumulative frequency before the median class would be 9, right? This 9 right here, before the 18, okay? So this is equal to 9, all right? And we're now going to find the frequency of the median class, which you know is 9 also, all right? Let's look at it. The frequency of the median class, this 9 right here, all right? So let us now substitute these values into our formula. So I can now say that the median is equal to L1, that's 19.5, all right, plus the summation of F over 2, which I calculated that to be 15, minus CFM minus 1, which is 9, all right. Dividing that now, we're going to divide that now by 9. All right, that's the frequency of the median class. And we're multiplying by the class width, which we know is 4. Okay, so that is now equal to 9.5 plus, all right, we know that 15 minus 9 is 6, and we're multiplying it by the 4. That's 6 times 4 divided by 9. All right, that's what we have. So this is now equal to, if you should put those values in a calculator now, right, you would get 12.1 6 sixes and a 7. All right, and remember that we need to round this now to 3 significant figures, which is equal to 12.2. All right, that's 3 significant figures. Now please note this value, all right, that's the median, and just look at this class here, the class boundary. Your answer for your median must fall within the class boundary, okay? If your answer doesn't fall within the class boundary, it means that you have done something incorrect. All right, I hope that is clear. So we have now finished the median, calculating the median net income. We're now going to calculate the modal net income. So that's part C. All right, part C. Part C, solution. Okay, now there's also a formula that we use to calculate the mode, all right, for group data as well. Let's look at it. This is it right here. So the mode, we normally use this symbol x hat, all right, is equal to L1 plus Fm minus Fa divided by Fm minus Fa plus Fm minus Fb times the cumulative, times the class width, sorry. All right, so L1 represents the modal class, the Fm represents the modal frequency, Fa represents the frequency above the modal frequency, all right, and the Fb, all right, this is supposed to be Fb right here. The Fb represents the frequency before the modal frequency. Okay, that is what we have. All right, so before we go about calculating, let us find the modal class. All right, the modal class. Now the modal class, for the modal class, we normally look at the frequency, right? And look at the highest number in the frequency. So the highest number here is 9, right? In the column where that it says number of importers, the highest number here is 9, all right? So it means that 10 to 13 is my modal class, okay? Let's calculate the mode. So this is part C solution, all right? So the mode is equal to L1 plus Fm minus Fa divided by, then we're gonna have Fm minus Fa in brackets here, plus Fm minus Fb, all right? Multiplied by the class width or the class size. Okay, remember that we had already calculated the class width to be 4, all right? So the class width is equal to 4, okay? And L1 is equal to 9.5. That's a lower class boundary for the modal class, right? So that is what we have. Let us find Fm, okay? Fm, what does Fm represent? Let's go back to it. Fm represents the modal frequency. So we need to look in our table now and look at what is the modal frequency. All right, so since this one here, this interval is the modal class, right? It means that the frequency of the mode is equal to 9. All right, this 9 right here. So Fm is equal to 9, okay, minus the frequency above. So Fa is going to be 7. All right, so Fm is 9 and Fa is going to be 7. Let's write that down. So Fm is 9 and we know that Fa, is equal to 7. What is going to be Fb? So Fb is the frequency below, all right, below the 9, which is 8. All right, so 8 is Fb. Okay, good. So since we now have all the information, let us now substitute this into our formula. So the mode is going to be equal to L1, which is 9.5, plus Fm, which is 9, minus Fa, that's 7. All right, and we're going to divide that by Fm minus Fa, which is 9 minus 7, plus Fm minus Fb, which is 9 minus 8, multiplied by the class width, which is 4. All right, that is what we have there. Okay, so let's do a simplifying here. So we have 9.5 plus 9 minus 7 is going to give me 2, and I'm multiplying it by the 4. That's 2 times 4 in the numerator there. All right. And I'm going to have 2 again, right? 9 minus 7 is 2, plus 9 minus 8 is 1. Okay, and this is going to be equal to 12.166. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7. All right. So when we round this now to 3 significant figures, we know that we are supposed to get 12.2. That is the 3 significant figures. So if you notice in this example, the mean, the median, and the mode are all equal. All right. Well, if you see that happening, don't be alarmed, because that can happen as well. All right, that can also happen. So if that happens to you, don't think that you're doing something wrong. All right, so we have now finished part C, which is to calculate the modal income. All right, and please note as well that when you're calculating the mode for group data, your answer should also fall within the modal class. All right, the modal class boundary. So the modal class boundary was 9.5 to 13.5. All right, and our answer was 12.2, which falls within the boundary. All of our answers was 12.2, so that falls in the boundary. All right, it falls in the median class boundary and the modal class boundary. So we're good there. Okay, so this is it for this measures of central tendency question for grouped data. All right, I hope it was helpful. If it was, please ensure to like this video and also comment down below. All right, and if you aren't already a subscriber, please ensure to subscribe. I am Mr. Garth Reed, student ambassador in the University of Technology, Jamaica, and I'm a mathematics teacher in training in the School of Mathematics and Statistics. I thank you for joining.